Hi everybody, it's me, Nicole again. I'm Queer Mom Acing It here on YouTube, over on Instagram, and over on TikTok. If you want more of me for some reason. Today I am going to be doing a ranking video of all my Gourmande Girl palettes. I've been wanting to make this video for a while. The original idea was to do this video in celebration of my very first discount code. I now have two. I have a discount code with Gourmande Girls and with Ladybug Glow. Both of them is Queer Mom Acing It. Both will get you 10% off your purchase with either brand. Oh, I almost forgot. If you're interested in what I am wearing, this t-shirt, this all over Care Bears print on a vintage band t-shirt black is what I think of it as. This is from the Care Bears Truffle Shuffle collaboration. I believe it is still in stock. And these earrings are from Laser Gems on Etsy and Instagram. She's amazing. I absolutely recommend that if you love 80s nostalgia and acrylic earrings / jewelry, go follow her. Not only is she an amazing human being, she makes some amazing wearable art. And I could not be more of a fan. I am like, every time she does a drop, I'm just on her I'm on the Etsy trying to figure out if there's something new that I need to add to my collection. All that aside, let's get into the ranking. Okay, first off, a little disclaimer. None of these are bad palettes. And I'm not saying that because Christina is my friend. I'm not saying that because I have a discount code with her. I am saying that because they are legitimately good. I have done looks with all of these palettes. I have looks with all these palettes up on my Instagram. They're pretty easy to find because I have a pretty small Instagram. But the first palette I'm going to talk about, so this is my lowest rank palette. I have 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so in 7th place, we have the Exquisite palette. And this is a collab with, Batgirl Electra. And this is apparently a volume 2. This is one of her older palettes. Let me open it up so you can actually see it. It is more of a neutral color story, which is why for me, it ranks closer to the bottom because I'm not really a neutral person. I think this one would have ranked higher for me if it had any of those special shimmer shades that Gourmande Girl is known for nowadays, but this is one of her older palettes, so I think she can get a pass on that. All of these mattes are gorgeous. This purple here, if you looked at the purple in the Spooked palette and went, that's just not the right shade for me, this one right here. This is the, I have such a hard time with the purples telling if they're warm or cool tone, but whichever one this one is, the one in the Spooked is the opposite. So if you are looking at this purple and thinking, yes, this is the purple that I want, this is that same wonderful matte formula. So like I said, I can't really say anything bad about this other than it's just not my ideal color story, and it doesn't have those wonderful dimensional, wet, and shiny shimmers that we now come to expect from the modern Gourmande Girls. But I still really like this palette. This is honestly a ranking of all the palettes I own from probably my favorite brand right now. I honestly have not just sat down and had a good hard think about what brand is my favorite. I might do that in another video. Ranking all of the brands that I own from. That could be pretty fun. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. I'm getting sidetracked. The next one is the Spectra palette. This one is also a collab. This one with, oh, Krista Rice. This one ranked higher than the Exquisite palette because of the diversity in the color story here. There are some wonderful neutrals in here, but look at this. I especially love this neon kind of lemon lime color up here. When I wore a look with this palette, I wore it with a like neon yellow leaning green sweatshirt, and this looked the same color, but then when I put it up against something like a true green, it looked really yellow. So it's kind of an in-between type of color there. This again, it doesn't have the special shimmers that we've come to expect from Gourmande Girls. The shimmers in here, they're not fine shimmers. They're not anything super special. But this is an older palette, so it is what it is. It is what it is. We just didn't have the same expectations for shimmers at the time. But if you want Gourmande Girl mattes in a variety of shades, this is an excellent one to get. That's actually the reason I got this one, because I actually bought this before the Spooked came out. So at the time I did not have any Gourmande Girl mattes, and I wanted to try out her formula. So I bought this palette. They're excellent mattes. They really are. It is the same good formula that you will find in the Spooked palette. I do like the black from the Spooked palette better. This is a fine black. It's just the one in the Spooked palette is better, which is why this is ranked at 6. Okay, next one. This is another very new acquisition. It's the That Time of Year palette. This was my Christmas present to myself this year. Well, it was kind of from my husband. He just agreed to let me pick out my own Christmas present because this is my hobby right now, and he knows that I'm too deep into it for him to be able to pick something out for me. So we agreed I'd pick out something for myself. Being married's great sometimes. Most of the time, actually. But anyway, I really like this. It does have some of these special shimmers in here. I love that it has two, iridescent, that's the word I'm looking for, 2 iridescent whites. And I've talked to Christina about this so many times. I love an iridescent white. It is my ideal inner corner highlight color. And the fact this one has 2 different ones I can choose from, or just a plain white shimmer if I want. I knew I had to try this one. I do love it very much. The shifty shades in here are great. However, this one here, the Silver Bells, gives me a ton of fallout. It did not stay in place on my lid. It looks like it's going to be the good special shimmer formula that, again, we expect from Gourmande Girls, from the Spooked palette and the Radioactive and the Ethereal, so on and so forth. But it isn't. You can tell that it was going there, but it didn't quite make it. So this shade for me, I don't think I'm going to be getting a lot of use out of it. I was really excited about it because I do love a really good silver. And this one has kind of a gunmetal color to it. Almost a tarnished silver color. Especially on the eyelids, it does give this a little bit of a darker grungy shift to the bright silver. I was really excited about the color. I really liked it. I got a lot of fallout with it and it didn't stay in place. So I think that this one here, you will have to use a glitter glue with. I don't have one at the moment, so that's probably why I was having so much trouble with it. But the fact that this shade is so fugitive is why it ranked as low as it did, because I really do love the color story here. This is pretty much my ideal December themed palette. it covers every holiday in December, like without feeling too like niche and kitschy. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, this is coming from a girl who gets really irritated with Christmas carols because they're the same every year and they're just on repeat all the time. And yes. Don't get me wrong, I love Christmas. I just can't stand repetitive sounds, and there's so much of that going on in Christmas music, but that's beside the point. I really love this palette, but it's really let down by that shade, and that's why it's ranking at number 5. Again, do really love this palette. It does have the really good mattes in it. I have something in my eye. Okay, so yeah, I really do love it. Oh, it's a collaboration with Debutante, Adventures of Vixena, and The Brutally Honest Beauty. I have not heard of any of those people, but it looks like it's it says YouTube collaboration with, so maybe there's something on her YouTube channel about that. Anyway, moving on. Number 4, we're getting into the modern Gourmande Girls. So from here on out, this is just, it's not going to really be a statement of quality, but more a statement of personal taste. You ready? Okay, let's go into this. Number 4 is the Ethereal palette. Controversial, I know. This is a lot of people's top all shimmer Gourmande Girl palette. And for me, it's my least favorite all shimmer Gourmande Girl palette. And the reason why is this shade here, Exquisite. It has to be applied with a finger, and I do not use my fingers for makeup application. I know, I just don't. If I use my fingers to actually apply makeup to my face, then when I try and do anything, I end up with other pigments just all over my face because I have a lot of allergies and I have ADD. I'm constantly touching my face. I can't do it. Other than that, I really do like this palette. There's not too much to say other than I was disappointed that I have to use my finger for this shade. And then this shade, you get best use out of it if you use your finger. You can use a brush, but it kind of does a disservice to the shade if you use a brush as opposed to using your finger, whereas this one simply will not work unless you use your finger. And I did talk to Christina. I don't have a bum palette. That is just the way that the formula for that particular shade is, because Christina uses her fingers to apply her makeup sometimes. So that's just the way this formula is, and that is perfectly fine. It just comes down to taste. I don't like using my fingers to apply my makeup, so I don't really like this palette as much as I thought I was going to, honestly. I was really particularly excited about this yellow duochrome here. It does have a green shift to it, which is not a bad thing. It was just disappointing to me for reasons. Basically, I just wanted a yellow duochrome, and when this had a green shift to it, I was like, oh. Because I find that green takes over yellow when it comes to a duochrome shift. So any yellow with a green shift to it is going to come off on the eye, at least on my skin, looking more green than yellow. And since I like to do a lot of rainbow looks when it comes to my all shimmer palettes, it kind of let me down in that regard. It wasn't the perfect shade for what I thought it was going to be. Again, there's nothing wrong with this shade. It just didn't meet my personal expectations for what I thought it was going to be when I looked at the product photos. So if this is your favorite, I totally understand why. It's just not my favorite. So again, this was number 4. Number 5, no, opposite direction. Number 3, I was honestly surprised by this. I thought this palette was gonna be my number 1. I really did. I really thought this palette was gonna be my number 1. Anybody who follows my Instagram probably knows what my number 1 actually is, but apparently I did not know that until I actually sat down with the palettes and thought about my actual ranking of them. It's the Radioactive palette. I'm kind of sad that this one, like, I'm disappointed this one didn't rank higher, and I'm the one who made the ranking. I don't know if you're like me and you watch ranking videos and you're like rooting for your favorite palette, and then you kind of get disappointed when it's not as far up on the list as you think it should be. Like, almost like you're like rooting for your favorite sports team and you know you can't do anything about whether or not they win, but you're still a little disappointed that they didn't. Yeah, it's Radioactive for me. Let's actually open the palette and look at it. I love this palette. I really do. There is not a shade in this palette that I don't love, that I haven't gotten decent use out of. But it's not as versatile or as useful to me specifically as the upcoming palettes. So it had to rank at number 3, and that breaks my heart. It breaks my heart. I love all these shades. I love how Isotopes, you can see it in the camera that it has a deep purple shift, but in person, at least in my bathroom lighting, it doesn't look, oh no, it's not Isotopes, it's Quantum. Quantum has a purple shift, and it surprised the heck out of me the first time I used it. It's a sneaky duochrome. It's like, oh, you think that I have a bright blue to light blue shift, but surprise, it's actually purple. I don't know what that voice was. I love Radon. Radon is honestly like my perfect iridescent white. I love High Energy. I love how it's basically Christina in an eyeshadow. If you know Christina, you know what I'm talking about. You do. And I love how it basically turns any matte that you put under it into the Barbie version of itself. I love this palette, but I cannot rank it higher than number 3 because number 2 is the Spooked palette. I couldn't rank the Spooked palette at number 3. It's too versatile. It actually has mattes and special shades in it. The good special shades from Gourmande Girls. This couldn't be lower than 2. It vied for 1. The only reason it didn't is because of reasons I will get to when I actually talk about number 1. Again, I don't think I need to explain why this palette ranked so highly. It sold out 3 times. 3 times. It is the only Gourmande Girl palette that I know of, and I think I'm correct in saying the only one, to have sold out when it first launched. Like, it sold out in its own season. It sold out before Halloween season was over, its first sellout. I think it's on its 2nd or 3rd pre-order now. It hasn't launched for pre-order yet. It will be next month. Yes, next month. I believe it's late March that it is launching. This is being filmed the 2nd of February. My son turned 7 today. I'm old. Anyway, I love this palette because you can do so much with it. I have yet to do a rainbow look with this palette, but you absolutely can. It's got the, I mean, I can almost do a, no, I can do a matte and a shimmer rainbow look with this. I'll probably have to do that. Like I say, if I can do a rainbow look with a palette, I will do a rainbow look with a palette. That's just what happens. I really love rainbows. Yes, I mean, this is a really, really good matte black. This is a pretty decent white. I can't get whites to look good on me. Like white shadows, I just can't. I don't know if I'm too pale or what, or if I'm not doing it right, but anyway, this is a gorgeous palette, gorgeous, and it's only number 2. Okay, now to the surprise of no one who actually knows me. What is this? Oh, okay, sorry. Magnet and a little piece of metal, and that's what happened. The Galactic Gourmande palette. Not only do I have huge sentimental attachment to this palette, it is the palette that introduced me to Christina. It is the one that launched me into this beauty sphere that I have found myself in. Through this palette, I met all of my closest makeup friends. It directly led to me to where I am today, and that's not even why it's ranked #1. It's ranked #1 because of how deep the divots are in it. I have nearly hit pan in Comet, not quite M81, but I've nearly hit pan in Comet alone. Anytime I go on vacation, I take this with me. I get compliments on this palette all the time. Absolute strangers will approach me and ask what's on my face when I'm wearing this palette. This palette got me my discount code. See my unpacking from my month-long vacation in the States for that full story. I love this palette. I compare this palette with any other palette and come out with the most stunning looks. I use this palette all the time, constantly, frequently. I just cleaned it. It's my second most popular reel on Instagram because it's fantastic. It is quite possibly my favorite palette of all time, let alone Gourmande Girls. There was no other palette I could have put at #1. I just love it so much. And I am really looking forward to seeing what Christina has coming for us in 2023. I know a few secrets. I shall not tell. But get excited. Get really excited, because I personally think that everything I have heard is really exciting. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to everything Christina is coming up with. She has announced that they're coming out with a Spooked Part 2, which is super exciting. Because, I mean, anything Doodles by the Bunny does is just gold. And when her eye for color and Christina's formulas come together, those ladies make magic. So I hope you love this I hope you liked this ranking. You didn't have to agree with it. I mean, we all have different opinions. This is just where they fall for me, and it was hard. It was so hard. If you want to know what's going on my face, I will have that all linked down below. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. It took me way too long to make because sometimes it's hard to just get up and do the thing. It's hard to just get up and do the thing. But anyway, if you can like and subscribe, I am officially over halfway to my goal of 50 subscribers here on YouTube, so I can start doing live get ready with me's. It would be you, me, multiple other strangers, and doing makeup. I love it. I really hope that you will help me get to my goal. Like and subscribe. If you want to, come find me over on Instagram and TikTok. Follow me there. Instagram is more of everyday makeup looks, and TikTok is other silliness and my life here in Japan. So I had lots of fun. I hope you did too. And I will see you hopefully next time. Bye.